Welcome, everybody. We'll get started here in just a minute. In the meantime, play a little music for you.
Get on board the train to the new earth now. Leave behind your fear, let love show you how. There's nothing now that can hold us down. Time to get on board the train to the new earth now. See what can happen when we work things out. When hearts are wide open, the love and light comes out. Voices rising like a healing sound, raising frequencies on this sacred ground. Get on board the train to the new earth now. Leave behind your fear, let love show you how. There's nothing now that can hold us down. Time to get on board the train to the new earth now. Hearts and minds together, building something strong. One great family where we all belong. Hope is growing where the dark once stood. The new earth rises for the highest good. Get on board the train to the new earth now. Leave behind your fear, let love show you how. There's nothing now that can hold us down. Time to get on board the train to the new earth now. From silent hearts to voices free, we're painting peace in our destiny. Each soul a spark, each hand a flame. Together we rise, no shame, no blame. The journey calls, no time to wait. Unlock the door, reshape your fate. The new earth breathes in every breath. A new future life with no regret. Get on board the train to the new earth now. Leave behind your fear, let love show you how. There's nothing now that can hold us down. Time to get on board the train to the new earth now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome today. I'm so honored to be here with you today. This is a lot of fun for me personally, so thank you all for being here, and thank you for watching. Today, Lilith is going to come in. She's going to do the channel to start with, and we'll have a lot of questions. We're not able to get all the questions, so please understand if we don't get to your question. We're going to do the best we can. But we also get, quite a few questions, so we're just not able to handle them all right during this time frame. We're going to try to keep this to an hour, if that's at all possible. Last time I planned to keep it to an hour, and Lilith just kept on going. So I think today might be a little bit different, but we'll try to do that as quickly as possible. We have a lot of changes going on the website and different areas. I'd like to show you something real quick that we're really proud of. A lot of things are changing on the website. We have part of the family, Elena, who's bringing things up to date for us in a whole new way. So everything's kind of getting a different look. And if you haven't been there in a while, you might want to go to steverother.org or espavo.org. By the way, one of the reasons we used my name instead of Espavo is because many times when I say it online like this, it gets misinterpreted. The V turns into a B and people don't end up going to the right place. So we decided to use steverother.org. But I want to share with you too, this is where you log in if you already have an account. If you don't, you can get a free Backstage account right here. Very simple, very easy. But there's also something new that's here. Whether you're logged in or not, you can get there right here. But if you're logged in and you do have a Backstage pass, you'll be able to find it very quickly in there. It'll be the last thing that's in your Backstage pass. But right here, we have a whole new piece. We have opened a community. Not only a community, but a couple of communities. We're going to change the logo and some other things. So this was temporary stuff, but there's a lot of information in here already in a very short time. I hope you enjoy it and I hope you participate. Please feel free to jump in, ask your questions, talk about whatever you want to talk about. We've got a lot of people in here that are doing some wonderful things, a way to connect in a brand new way. And it's all free and it's all open. So please feel free to come join us. But I also want to show you one other aspect. Besides our open community that we also have another one. And that's right over here. And that's the Spirit Response Healing Center. Over here, and we have lots of suggestions here about how to do this and how to work with it and what to expect. But here, if you have an issue, you have something going on or someone close to you does, it's perfectly fine to come in here and ask for healing. Now, please understand, we're not going to tell you to do this or do that, or this is how you heal this instance. What we're going to do is send you love and energy from a collective of some very powerful beings. We do have a couple of moderators over here that will be posting with an M in front of their name so you can know that they are moderators. And they're here to help. Also, if you wish to have, and that's in, let me get it here. I'm still getting used to it myself. So, it's show more. Here it is. In this opening statement, you'll also, we got to get to the top. There we go. In the opening statement here, it'll tell you a couple different things about it. But also, there's times when people don't want to publicly ask for healing. There's different things that they might be embarrassed about, or addictions, no matter what they are, or different aspects that they don't want to make public. That's perfectly fine. In that case, you can write an email to healing@espavo.org. We will post it without your name and simply allow them to send you energy and for them to send you different aspects that you can work with in order to help create this. Together, when we hold hands, we can make a huge difference on this planet. And that's part of what we want to be able to do. I'm really proud of the team that we have here at Espavo. They're incredible beings. We fortunately, we have a staff meeting every Thursday, and it's one of the highlights of my life. We get to meet with some wonderful people and really connect on a social basis as well as get some wonderful work done. And with that, one of the members of our staff, one of the experts here is Debbie. Debbie's with us here today to answer questions and bring it in. Say hi. Whoops, I got to turn your microphone on. I apologize. There we go.
Hi.
And she'll be with us too to answer questions. I don't know if we're going to have any time today to take questions in the chat room. If we don't, next time we come together, we will take questions in the chat room. But I'm going to turn it over to Debbie right now to make some announcements, and I'm going to prepare to bring in Lilith. It does take me a couple minutes to bring her in. She's pretty powerful, and we're going to try to keep this as succinct as and to the point as we can today. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for being here, everybody. You are loved. Here's Debbie.
Thank you, Steve. I just have a few announcements. Most of them Steve's already mentioned, so this will just reinforce it. He wants to keep this session to about just under an hour. We've had people complain that they go on too long, so we're going to try to keep it to an hour. I've also prioritized the questions that people have sent in that are directed toward Lilith specifically, since she is graciously agreed to come in today. So I hope that that's okay for people, and we'll just go through as many as we can. So welcome back, Lilith.
Greetings, dear ones. I join you this day with such gracious pride. I love being a part of this energy, part of humanity, to be able to reflect you in a very empowering way. It's very time for all of you to wake up from the dream. You've been playing a wonderful game of hide and seek. Well, we see you. The reality is you can hide no longer, dear ones. Your energy is always needed on this earth, and now more than ever before. So we're going to take a few things and share with you. First of all, we've always asked the keeper to dress in red. It is my color. We've even asked him to do this, so we'll do this today too, because I like red. You'll notice that I have talked about Eris before being based in red energy, and that is part of what we'll be doing here as well. Sharing with you some of the gracious opportunities, not only that have happened with Eris, but also that are taking place on Earth as we speak. You're changing everything. Things are moving at an incredible pace. Yes, there are many humans that are choosing to sleep and to stay asleep. We have no judgment about that. The reality is many beings who come on this planet, they do exactly as their parents have done. They were taught how to be a human. But what we wish to do is to awaken your spirit. Your spirit knows better. We don't have to yell at you and tell you to wake the fuck up. You know how to do this. You know where this comes from. And the understanding of what is written on your heart, even before your parents taught you things. Now, we're not telling you to disregard everything that your parents have said. There's many wonderful things, and even the things that they did teach you, they have probably taught you out of love. So balance it. That is the idea. Now, what we're going to say is that it is time to start taking action on your planet. And for those of you who wish to, we are going to lead the way. The Keeper has already set up all the seminars that he's going to do over the next several months. Well, we're going to take a lot of that and push it aside, because I'm going to come in with some of my own. We wish to share with you how to be a balanced being. And that's going to be something important coming up. Now, some of his staff right now is scampering around to try and figure out what we're talking about. We'll make it very clear later, because we have not spoken of this before. But the reality is, women need to learn how to take their power in a gracious way, not in a masculine way, but in a gracious way, in a feminine way. And masculines, you have so many masculine energies on this planet that are actually incredibly empathic. And yet, sometimes you're doing as your parents have taught you. You're being a good little boy. You're being strong. You're being, no, don't cry. That's not a masculine thing to do. Well, we're going to teach you how to feel it all. So we wish to bring this to you in a different way, to share with you some of the attributes of what it is like to be a spirit balanced in a human being. And that's such a beautiful aspect. So we hope you enjoy some of this, and we will share with this from time to time as well. And those of you who do not wish to take a class, we will bring it in different ways to allow you to work with this. I have recently written the last Beacons of Light. It turned out quite well, according to the Keeper. In fact, much of what we have been working with have been to get your energy, to get your attention in some ways, to show you that this can be done right now. And it's time. Not only will you find support in many other places, will you find resistance? Of course you will. You're on planet Earth. But you're bringing in a new energy yourselves. All of you have these capabilities to be strengthened in all ways by balancing. Please understand, as we've said many times, masculine, feminine, those are simply part of the duality that you have carried. Now, to move into a triality, into a full being of full expression, it's important that you balance the duality of yourselves, because otherwise you're stuck in one or the other. And it does not mean that a very strong masculine being who's been very successful at being a male cannot carry feminine energy. The reality is you can. You can carry more of it than you can possibly know. Most of the time, you have learned to hide it. We'll help you uncover that. We'll give you attributes from time to time. And I will not be the only one of the group that comes in to talk of this. This, going forward, dear ones, will be our main focus. And we're sad to tell the Keeper he's put a lot of work into coming up with these beautiful seminars, but they are going to move aside for a short time. And we'll work with all of you in different aspects, whether you wish to only watch the free material, whether you wish to watch what we call the Pathway 1, or whether you wish to be a light master and incorporate all of it you wish. That is entirely up to you. One is not better than the other. What fits for you is the most important aspect. So take a look. Choose your path. Choose where you go from here. And watch the capabilities of the new human arising right here, right now. Now, we also tell you many aspects. You're not alone. There are many beautiful beings here. First place, you're multidimensional. There are other yous. Those other yous, for the most part, have balanced in many ways. They're waiting for the beings on what you call planet Earth to do the same. Now, it's very difficult to describe all of that in a quick, short presentation of this nature. But we also tell you that many times you think you are stuck because of your limitations around you. You're not. You can tap into these other dimensions of time-space, gain strength from them. Learn that you are actually perfect when you combine all your dimensions. That is the spirit that left home, that is now divided into 11 different experiences, plus the higher self, making 12. In truth, they are actually infinite. However, they're in groups of 12. So we share this with you so that you can gain strength and empowerment from all of it. But you're not the only ones that are multidimensional. The Earth herself is multidimensional. And that is one of her dimensions, is what we have called Eris. Now, not too long ago, you discovered what you called an exoplanet by the name of, and you named it Eris. We thought that was marvelous. We planted that name with you to be able to do that. There's much of a history, even on planet Earth, of that name and where it comes from. But we also have a planet very similar to Earth that is called Eris, which is one of Earth's multiple dimensions. Now, as with all dimensionality, you're born at exactly the same second. You die at exactly the same second. At least we hope you do, because otherwise you end up fragmenting your spirit. But that is generally the way things work. And the same is true with the multiple dimensions of Earth herself. And what we tell you is the other dimensions are all lining up to make a massive shift right now. In some ways, they're waiting for Earth, which is why I'm here, which is why I try to get your attention any way I can. The truth of the matter is, it's time, as we mentioned, to wake the fuck up. Now is the time, because you're being pulled from all your other dimensions. Things that you had thought were so important to you may start to crumble. You may find other things starting to show up in your life that light your spirit. Be aware for it. Be awake. Know that you're on a beautiful place. Your space has been reserved here, dear ones. All we ask you to do is to wake up and hold hands. That will change your world overnight. And it is time. And we thank you for your attention during this. I have approved to take some questions during this time frame in order to be here for you, to be able to work with you in this way. So we'll begin with that right now. Espavo, dear ones, know that you are loved, even though I yell at you from time to time.
Thank you so much, Lilith. And I do want to encourage you all to read the Beacons of Light that came out from Lilith this week. It's available on the Steve Rother site, and it's just truly beautiful. So thank you for that. Our first question is from Isi. I think she's from Hawaii. And she says, I really loved hearing from Lilith. She was so bold, honest, and wonderfully still human. Don't get a big head now. So anyway, this is a question for Lilith and for Steve. First, what is your message for the old Lemurian souls who are last timers here on Earth? Second, what is the spiritual significance of Stonehenge and Avalon, Glastonbury? I feel an incredibly strong magnetic pull to visit them. I see the signs everywhere, but I just don't know why. What is really calling me, and for what reason?
You will find much of this is actually a remembrance. You have been there. Now, we also tell you that many of these aspects, including Camelot, including King Arthur, all these beautiful stories that were written in your dimension as stories, also existed on Earth in other dimensions, which is why you're having such difficulty finding physical proof that these things actually took place. But when timelines cross like that, we tell you they leave permanent imprints on each other. This is a story that will never go away. Stonehenge itself was done by some of your parental races, not only to honor things. It was built by humans, but certainly assisted, much as many of these things have. You are aware today that it is almost impossible for you to build pyramids like were built in ancient Egypt. And that wasn't that long ago. At some point, I will also be talking about your history. And when I say your history, I mean all dimensions of history. The aspect of how a spirit separates from the whole of all that is, to have an experience to evolve, which is what you're doing. Now, much of this is there. We ask you to follow your heart, to not only study these things that you can now bring on your online, but also to go there when you get a chance. You will have tears in your eyes most of the time, remembering beautiful feelings first. You may not always get the memories of what took place, but you will feel it. And then the memories will come later, and they will help direct you in so many beautiful ways. That is the aspect that is already written on your heart. It is possible, too, that you have come in specifically to help remember these times, these places, and the empowerment of this beautiful energy. Keep up the good work. Now, we know there are two aspects of it, but we think we've covered both of your questions in one. If not, you'll have to come back another time and ask again. Espavo.
Thank you, Lilith. Next question is from Esther, and it's first a comment that when you announced the ninth and final member of the group, her immediate thought was that she must be Mary Magdalene or maybe Isis. But of course it's Lilith. And of course it's her because she was the first manifestation of the divine feminine that was demonized, followed by Isis and Mary. The Trinity of the divine feminine. Esther is so excited and curious whether this resonates with you, this concept of the Trinity of the Divine Feminine.
Of course it resonates. It is. It's very simple. You see things in a very limited range. You must understand all humans are walking around with amnesia. Your spirit has amnesia. You basically cross through this place that we call the veil. Now, it's not something that drips across your face to keep you from remembering. It's an actual physical location halfway between home and earth. It's where you put on your bodysuit. It's where you leave your memories of previous lifetimes. It's where you divide into your multiple dimensions. And it's a very magical place. But in those places, you come in, you land here, and you start to have memories. Please understand, you have come, dear one, to help complete the story. We hope you not only explain what you think that is and let us validate that for you, but we hope you tell your story. You've come in with a very important aspect of understanding of humanity, where you come from, how you evolve, and who you really are. These are times to awaken from the dream. You're well on your way, dear one. Keep it up. Espavo to you.
All right, next up we have Annalie from Holland. She said she noticed the traffic in Holland moves very fast and the colors of cars are black and gray generally. In fact, strollers are black and people also seem to be wearing black coats and trousers. So I have to watch very carefully on the streets. Do you know why people seem to be wanting so much black?
The keeper tends to wear black all the time. Even his hat is black, is it not? The reality is, it's a way of kind of hiding, is it not? It's a way of disappearing a little bit, fading into some of the energies around you. Now, please do not think that black is bad and white is good. That is not the case, but it brings in the light differently. Please understand that. Now, the keeper lives in the desert. He lives in a place called Las Vegas. It gets very warm here because the sun is very intense here. But if you look around, perhaps from an aerial view, you'll see that most of the rooftops are dark. They're very beautiful that way, and most of them, many of them, are meant to emulate clay rooftops that used to be. But the reality is it absorbs the sun even more. The reality is it makes you use more energy because you're absorbing the sun into your rooftops. The keeper has recently wanted to paint his roof white. And he sent out possibilities to many painters and roofers as to how that could happen. Are they willing to do that? Will they give him what he calls a bid on doing that? Most of them laughed at him. They thought that was hilarious, that he wanted to paint his roof white. But we tell you, that reflects the sun. That actually completes the reversal of global warming in many ways. You'll find many of these things changing over time. Right now, it is a fashion trend. You can be led by many things, including what you see on your television, what you hear and read in your magazines, what you see on your social medias. They are planted intentionally to give you new fashions. It's not wrong, dear ones, but many times it will lead you in one way or the other. Many times it will work in different aspects just to simply make money. And so it is. Again, it's not wrong. It's a game you are playing. But we tell you, as far as the inclusion of all those black cars riding around, they're very interesting to look at a black car, probably more so than a white car. It's actually more difficult for the human eye to look at a white car than it is to see a black car because of the reasons we spoke. And yet, you're going to find that the more light that you can put into things, the more you can reflect the sun's rays rather than absorb them, will start to make a difference globally. The Earth, dear ones, is in trouble. We've talked about this before. You have changed so many things on your planet. You've shifted. You've done such a wonderful job of bringing in the wind power, harnessing the sun. learning to work with electricity in motivating your cars instead of gas, instead of burning the old fuel from the dinosaurs. You've done it, many of these aspects, and yet there's a resurgence. You have learned to go by the term drill, baby, drill, have you not? You've learned to look the other way in many ways. So hold your energy tight. Know that the earth needs your help. There's many of your parental races that have been here working diligently with the earth to help her change. They're actually more interested in working with the earth in the beginning than they have been with humans. That is going to change. It's time to get your attention. As we've said many times, wake the fuck up. They're about to reveal themselves just for that reason. You will look at them and think, oh, this is wonderful. We should be afraid of them. They have such great technologies. They had such great technologies, they could have taken you over a long time ago. You have nothing to fear there. Are they perfect? Of course not. They're on the other side of the veil, the same as you are. But they're more advanced in many ways. And most of them want to help. They want to help you change. Now, they've been working in coherence with your leaders. They've made deals with many of your governments over many, many years. They're about to supersede all of that and throw all of that away because it is no longer working for the betterment of humanity. They're about to reveal themselves for the simple reason that it's time to get your attention. And that will be a grand thing. We hope we've answered your question. We know it's not as simple as black and white. But keep in mind, you're moving out of the duality of black and white and into a whole new area of triality, which is part of the reason I wear this red. Do I look good in red?
I think the answer is yes, Lilith. You do look good in red. All right, this question comes from Jane, and she says, thank you for coming again to help us better understand life on our planet and navigating the changes occurring. I was watching a podcast with a dire forecast due to the lack of snow runoff in the Colorado River, which supplies the 7 American Western states water. And I am wondering if you see life in those places continuing to be possible, at least until we learn to control and bring alternative water sources.
There are many aspects that are right on the edge of discovering much. Many of you are concerned about the advances in technology, especially in what you call AI. There's much more coming. There's quantum computing coming. There's robotics coming. There are many aspects that are here. Many of those can help you discover some of the opportunities to change, including desalinization, including being able to seed the rains in your clouds. There's many aspects of this. Now, what has happened in Colorado will affect everyone, especially those in that area, especially where the keeper lives right now. Now, it's interesting because he's very much aware as he watches this lake that they draw all the water from, as he watches it disappear a little bit more, uncovering the pipes that actually drain the lake. We find it fascinating because at the same time that this is happening, new apartments, new condos, new homes are being built by the thousands. You would think that many people would look ahead and be able to see what's coming. But that is not the case. Is it going to cause a problem? You have many problems coming very closely. You're going to see some economic problems globally that are liable to start in the United States. You're seeing people that are being scammed right and left. We can tell you that almost 70% of your planet has been affected by artificial people pretending to scam you and take your money. It's a way of life for many. So what we're telling you is very simple. Things are changing. Things are altering. Look for the things that you can remain the same with. Look for the things that you can change within yourselves. Look for all of it to start shifting in a new way. Take hold, Know that you are where you are for a reason. Now, there are many cultures that have lived a very long time in the same place. Look at the Aztecs. Look at the Mayans. Look at all the different races that have been there over and over and over again for thousands of years sometimes, and suddenly they've disappeared because of climate change, because of weather change, because of something of that nature that they were not able to resolve. The same is happening right now. And yet, you have the capabilities of superseding all of this, of learning new ways, of learning to do things, and the more that you can do right now to save this water, to understand and to put your energy into some of these new technologies that hold hope for you. Not only that, but also to bring together the people that know these pieces. We tell you, dear ones, it's a sad situation here in the United States. Many of these people that are making advances are being shut down intentionally to give rise to the money that the oil makes. This is unbelievable to us. But this is also part of the reason that some of your parental races are about to reveal themselves. They're saying, we don't trust you anymore. Whether they made deals with your governments or not, they're done. It's time to talk directly to you. And we hope that that brings you hope, not fear. Understand, dear ones, you're creator beings. Those things that you fear will come to pass. So hold the hope over the fear. Balance them out. Move out of duality into triality and create a new game. Espavo.
Thank you for those words of hope. I think we all can use some. This question is from one of our light masters, Victoria. And she says, thank you for the chance to ask questions. There is an archetype of a shadow in psychology and in some astro methods, which is named Lilith. I'd say humanity tried to keep a memory about Lilith. Those who went into that knowledge deeply see the real Lilith's power and beauty. The process of shadow recognition and integration is therapeutic and drives into self-liberation and awareness living. I'd like to ask Lilith to share the metaphysical way for shadow recognition and integration to help and support people who started this amazing journey.
Thank you for such a beautiful question. It illustrates the advancement of humanity. Humans have lived in duality, up, down, right, wrong, good, bad, love, and fear. And quite honestly, you've been told to be afraid of certain things in order to manipulate you. Now, in the early days of humanity, it actually helped to ensure your survival. So maybe there was even a reason, but you have grown way past that. The primary focus of humanity is no longer about survival. It's about evolution. And everything changes at that point. Now, you must understand, dear ones, as we have spoken for many years, there is beauty in the darkness. First, you must lose the fear, because if you are afraid of the dark, you will create those fears. You are creator beings. It's that simple. And of course, you learn this as a small child when the lights are first turned off when you go to sleep at night. You fall into fear because you can no longer control your environment by being able to see it. Now, how your parents deal with that often sets things into motion for you as to how you deal with the darkness growing up. And those that wish to manipulate you have created all sorts of dark things. We hate to tell you a secret, dear ones, but there is no hell. We think that is a marvelous spot. But in truth, you have all the aspects as you wish to create it. Guess what happens? You create things of that nature. You don't need to go there. The beauty in the darkness has always been there if you are not afraid to look at it. Take a look at the beautiful things that have been written about the darkness. Look at some of the poetry and the beautiful prose of a gentleman by the name of Edgar Allan Poe. Every part of that is dark, but incredibly beautiful. Look at some of your movies. by some of your dark artists. There are many there that become very popular in different ways. And they don't say that this is good or bad. They simply share with you some of the energies around it. You realize, of course, that many songs are written about difficult things, about horrible things that have happened to people, that they're wrestling with, that they're changing, that they're evolving and getting used to. Those are beauty in the darkness. And the more beauty that you show in the darkness, the more light there is on planet Earth. You see, darkness is only a blocking of the light. That is all it is, and it's a natural event. You go outside in your beautiful sunshine, sunlit days, and you will see shadows forming behind the trees, behind the buildings in different ways. It's actually a wonderful place to cool down a bit sometimes. Look for the beauty in the darkness, and you will no longer be afraid of it. Now, how does one do that? Well, there are many aspects of it. In reality, the person that has asked the question holds many of those answers already. We hope you give those classes of which you seek. We have given some already, and we will continue to do that as the group of 9. But quite honestly, we have a lot of work going on. The reality is, I have been told to be dark. In the beginning, when the keeper made his first picture of me, he put on black wings. We told him that was fine because I am a beautiful being, not worried about the illusion of darkness. But the reality is, I'm not dark. It doesn't make any difference. There's beauty in all of it. Choose your own stories. Create your reality according to what you expect out of life, of what feeds you and not what you have necessarily been told. Rethink many of your own guidelines, your own rules, and especially your belief systems. Espavo, dear ones, excellent choice of questions. Thank you.
Next up, we have Monica from Poland, and she says in Poland, where she lives, it's a place where many forces and beings have made it to be their playground for many, many years. Now it feels like maybe things want to change, but it also feels like the old energies still fight viciously. Could you talk a bit about what is ahead for Poland and how does it look from your perspective?
Change is always difficult. Where people always stick to the old. They wish to keep everything from changing if possible, because change takes a lot of effort in many different ways. Whether you're talking about politics, whether you're talking about governments, whether you're talking about the general energy of places around you, belief systems, all of it. Very difficult to change in many ways. But you're sitting on the planet that is evolving very quickly beneath your feet. We ask you humans to basically wake up for that very reason. It's time to push aside some of the old belief systems that you hold. Not that they were wrong, not that they haven't served you well in some ways, but look anew. Look at the possibilities of the things that are already written on your heart. They've always been there. You know deep inside what is right, what is wrong, and you choose accordingly, but lose the difference. There never was a black and white. Everything is a shade of gray, a beautiful mixture of all of it. That will change. Now, what of the systems? Because those are the pieces that move the slowest. Whether you're talking about politics, whether you're talking about money, especially money. We told you a long time ago, back in 2014 and 2015, that the coming elections in those days were not about right or wrong. They were not about Democrats versus Republicans. They were about money versus the people. Well, we tell you for a time you postponed it, but money has clearly taken over. That is up to you. And the funny part about it is your money. It is your money that is being used against you. You'll start to wake up to some of this. In fact, there's many things that you can do. What are the things you can do to change your world around you and change some of these systems? Well, unfortunately, you will see some of these systems collapse. That's unfortunate because that means forced change, and that is very difficult to recover from sometimes. But you can start right now. What is one of the greatest things you can do to change your world? So look at some of these large corporations which are running your world and to write them a letter. Dare to write them a letter in handwriting. You can find where to send it. It's not that difficult to do. But no one writes letters anymore. And when someone receives a letter in a large corporation expressing your displeasure at a way that they have worked or something they have done in order to gain more of your money, they take note. It's a wonderful way to start. Start a letter writing campaign with you and your friends to tell some of these large corporations and some of these political organizations that you are unhappy about certain aspects that they are doing. And watch as these seeds start to grow in the new light of the new planet Earth. It's a wonderful time to be here. You are not powerless, not by any stretch of the imagination. But you do have the old ways of thinking. We hope to introduce some of these new old ideas to you, to share with you how you can actually make a difference right now. This is one of many. I'll share this with you now and bring you more later. Thank you for the question. Espavo, dear one.
Thank you for inspiring us to take action. This question comes from Robert, and he says, thank you for your continuous service to humanity. How can we most effectively direct our energy towards the international situation and the wars and injustices going on? How can we, with our minds and our actions, guide these energies towards peace, love, justice, and equality? Perhaps even in some way affect those making the decisions. So this is right along the same lines as the last one, as you answered. Thank you.
It is entirely possible to do exactly the same as we've spoken, but also to dare to speak it, to talk about it. You have new ways of communicating on your planet. Some of you are not liking some of the new technologies that are here, but if you use them for positive purposes, they can make a difference. It is for this exact reason that the Keeper has opened up a community at his website, to be able to speak these things out loud. Now, when you speak them, something magical happens. You would think that this is a great place for you to set your energy into motion on a global basis, and it is. But it's not necessarily about those that read it. It's about you. Because when you express something like this, it becomes ingrained in you in a different way. We've told you for many times that when you speak something, something magical happens in the universe. Your voice creates a vibration in the ethers of all that is. But it's not so much about going out there, it's about coming out here and going in your own ears. That creates something magical in what we call the universal energy. You have known it in many ways. Many of your religions have used it as the Akash, or the Akasha, or the Logos. There are many places where you talk about the strings that connect your hearts. You're all one, but you're walking around with amnesia. You can't see that connection. You must go into a spiritual aspect to do it. But when you speak and hold your truth deep within you and express it in some way, those connections become stronger. Even your sciences have just recently launched a rather large, expensive telescope to start discovering something about the space between all of you, known as dark energy. It actually makes up 68% of all the energy in the universe. Now, that is the connecting energy that we've been calling the universal energy for a very long time. It's been referred to, as we mentioned, in many different ways. Put your vibrations into the universal energy. Now, we also ask you to be very much aware that the universal energy will reflect exactly back what you send it. For instance, to ask for anything is a statement of lack. Think about that. You're telling the universe that you're not whole until you get something. What is it going to respond with? It'll keep you in lack. So we ask you to thank the universe for your abundance, no matter how small it is, and watch it grow. Watch some of the things change around you in different ways. There are ways of learning to speak to the universal energy. And those things are all around you. We will teach them, but many people have been teaching them for eons of time. Pay attention. It's already written on your heart. You already know many of these answers. We hope that our voices and our chances to work with you in this way are simply helping you to remember who you truly are and those beautiful things that you already know. Help you to remember. Espavo. Thank you.
This is from Deborah. She says, Dear Lilith, welcome back. And you've already addressed the concept a little bit in your opening statement, but how can I balance the female and male within me? I've been a single woman for 40 years. I'm an elder now. Working in this misogynistic world as a professional woman for many decades has necessitated that I take on some male characteristics. I cannot now be sure which traits are naturally mine, perhaps balanced once, and which I have adopted by necessity. I suspect I lack good balance. Can you give me advice or a process or a set of tools to help me sort through all of this as I make my way toward creating balance and peace within me as well as the world? I know this sounds like a personal question, but I think there's a lot of women out there that struggle with this same issue.
As well as men. Please understand there are many extremely sensitive, empathic men that struggle with pretending to be a male, that try to fit into the categories that they've always been told. What we're going to do first is to tell you you're right on target. Your age makes no difference whatsoever. You understand that your societies have gone through some drastic changes in years past, recent years past. We'll take you back to the 1960s, where people awoke from the dream and started holding a different view, a different energy. And they had a tendency to throw off all that went before, to take all the things many times even that their parents told them and re-look at everything anew. It was wonderful. It brought in all sorts of new energies. But it didn't stop there. Every generation after that has done something similar. So much so that even today, you tend to listen to the new and not the aged, not the elders on your planet. You can be part of that change, dear one. You hold a lot of wisdom, a lot of energy. You've learned a lot by trying to play a game in a misogynistic world, in a misogynistic place, and learn to love yourself even so. Now, we tell you all of this is about some beauty. We ask you to read the beacons of light that we have just sent out. And we tell you that many of you have too much blade in your spirit, as I did when I was on Eris. I had way too much masculine energy, and I learned to balance it. I had to, or as a human. We didn't call them human. We called them something different, and they were a lot shorter because your whole aspect of gravity was quite a bit different over there. But you'll find lots of different aspects of it that are very similar. Now, when you work with this in different ways, you'll learn both. You'll learn to hold the beauty of the feminine energy because it carries it so incredibly well. And you'll learn to hold the strength of the masculine at the same time. You do not need to focus on one or the other. You do not need to separate the two. We have many aspects and tools that we will be giving in time. As we mentioned, we're going to rearrange the Keeper's schedule quite a bit to make space for some of this which is coming. But some of you will not be able to take this for financial reasons or for time reasons or for whatever. But once we plant it into the universal energy, it will work its way around to you. You'll find it in different ways anyway. So there's much of this that we'll be showing you and sharing with you. And we'll be telling many stories from Eris when Eris was out of balance in exactly the opposite way. I was part of that. I incarnated. I took off my wings. I pretended to be one of the Erasians. I pretended to be one of them. And I woke up in a physical body, not knowing who I was. I had to be taught how to be one of them, the same as you have been taught to be a human. Now, we had a different aspect then. We were too far into the feminine energy and not enough into the masculine. And we learned, we changed, we evolved. One of the things that happened about 17 years ago was that you had a timeline cross with Eris. Some of you actually may remember it. It was part of what the group was teaching at that time. You have what you call a linear time frame. You called it past, present, and future. We see it as a line. It's an illusion, but nonetheless, it's there. And we had one in Eris as well. And all 11 dimensions of time-space are going off in different directions. And yet you choose where you go with that. There comes points where those timelines cross. When those timelines cross, they leave permanent imprints on each other. They're able to help each other. You had one with Eris which was like this. You were together for a very long time. The big beneficiaries of that was Eris. We learned how to balance that energy. Humans did too. Planet Earth did as well. But it was very quickly thrown off. It was very quickly controlled back into the masculine energy. So it did not completely take. There is another one that is scheduled to happen, but not for a few years. In the meantime, you can do it without the timeline cross. You can understand within you. Can you change the planet? Can you change the leaders? Can you change your political systems? No. You change you. That's all that takes. That's all you have power to do, and that's enough. That's enough to change the world that you live in. So we ask you to look at those. Many of you are very well balanced. Many of you are very well balanced, or you would not even be watching a podcast like this, a broadcast like this, excuse me, he's correcting me. But nonetheless, it's the same thing. You have opportunities not only to help yourself balance even more, but to teach others, to be an example, to be that incredible shining light. You do not need to go out on a street corner and yell your truth to everyone. That does not work. It never did. It just simply degrades your truth from you. But by holding that truth and living that truth, people look at you. They want what you have. They want that balance. Now, most of you think you're farly out of balance. You need help. You need to take this class. You need to understand this. You need new tools. Yes, you do. And many of you hold those tools. Many of you hold them deep within you. We told you all these truths are written deep on your own hearts. You hold it. Let it out. Speak it aloud. Dare to be the teacher that you are so afraid of being. Dare to step forward and tell your story. It's magical. You will change first your world, and one heart at a time, the world will change around you. Espavo, dear ones, thank you for asking the question.
I now have a question of my own that kind of gets into an area that's been considered taboo a little bit. But you mentioned last week that that many stories from the Bible are somewhat factual, and often the details and the lessons were quite different, though. So I'm wondering about your insight into the figure of Jesus, and how I always felt like he was had wonderful intentions, and he really supported all religions and people. And of course, that's not what some people take from that today. Could you speak to this?
We will certainly speak to it since it has been asked as a question. We thank you for asking the question first. Jesus was a human, did very well on this earth. There are many that have direct connections to home. We call this channeling. All of you have it. You call it different things. Some of you bring it in different ways. Some of you ground it. Some of you think, oh, it's my imagination. I'm going to let it go. There's many things that have happened. But when you learn to trust that and act accordingly, you can walk in mastery. You can walk in the same mastery that that person of the name Jesus was walking. Most of his story is absolutely true, and yet much of it has been twisted slightly. Much of it has shown ego. It almost shows that God has an ego. God has no ego, dear ones. That is not absolutely true. God speaks in many languages in many different ways, in many different of what you call religions. The only challenge we have with any religion is that they say that they are the only path to God. That is not true. You have many ways to reach your higher self. You have many ways to reach home, which is where you all came from. All of you are the same. If you understand that, you're well on your path. You have already started to awaken. But if they can make you stay, oh no, this is the only truth that we hold, we have to let all the rest go. There's one religion that calls the others infidels and they all must die. Well, not really. There's many that say, oh, this is the selected race of God, his favored beings. Not really. There's many aspects which have been rewritten and rewritten to control humans. All of these have wonderful aspects. We're not asking you to throw out religions. We're not asking you to throw out these beautiful stories that have preceded you. But know that they have been altered. Take from them the beauty that you can gather. Leave the rest. We call this a high level of discernment. For our definition of discernment is to take that which speaks to your heart. Leave the rest without judgment. Don't call it good or bad. Simply say, this is not for me at this moment. And we tell you that belief systems are when, oh, if you believe this, you must believe all these other things. Well, not so much. We, of course, have called that BS, which is perfect. But the truth is, take what is yours. Understand that you are higher spiritual beings, each and every one of you. You carry these things deep within you. And if you take all of these and know that these beautiful stories have been rewritten, it's very obvious. You can even look back at your history and see where they have been rewritten. You can see where the Bible has been rewritten at least 8 times. The whole thing from beginning to end. Oh yes, different aspects you call the Torah, the first 5 chapters of the Bible written by Moses. But he also wrote about his death, did he not? The reality is you've seen lots of things of this. We also tell you that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were written by the same person. Interesting. You have different aspects that you will see in different ways. And we're not asking you to throw that out. There's some beautiful truths in there. What we're asking you to use is to do your inner discernment. Use your heart discernment to take what resonates with your heart and simply leave the rest. You don't have to say, oh, this is all bad because it's been changed. No, then you lose, don't you? Take the good from all of it. Learn how to step into that higher aspect, and you'll start to see a new path. Many of you are incredible teachers that have come in with incredible wisdom of the ages. Some of you are last-timers. You have promised yourself that if you speak your truth and this time you do not have to return to earth, you can go to the next level. And there are some beautiful things waiting for you. But we tell you, speak your truth. Let us encourage you to step forward. Does it mean it has to be perfect? No, you're on planet Earth. Of course it's not going to be perfect. Perfection is not allowed on planet Earth, which is why you have divided yourself into all these incredible dimensions. But what we tell you, speak that which is written deep on your heart. You know it. Awaken from the dream. and speak it out loud. Dear ones, we're going to leave you now, for our time at this moment is up. There will be more. I will return. I will come back. Watch for the red. I live in the red energy. I love the red. And know that you are all special, unique beings. You have an incredible, beautiful color with you as well. Stand truthfully in it. Know that your energy is needed on this earth at this moment. And we also tell you that when these beautiful beings that we are calling your parental races start to reveal themselves, you call them extraterrestrials. We call them extra dimensionals many times because they know how to shift dimensions. But the truth is, they're way beyond you as far as many of the technological advances and many of their truth. And yet, don't give your power to anyone, even to them. That is the case of what you are learning, how to hold your own power. Which brings us back to this word Espavo, an ancient Lemurian greeting used for hello and goodbye. Literally translated, it means thank you for taking your own power. Espavo, dear ones, I am Lilith. I love you dearly, and I honor you beyond your understanding. Thank you for being on this earth at this time. You are needed. I love you.